I'm a level 4 referee. I operate in the Northwest Counties and I line on the Northern Premier League.
So, Rob, you one of the more infamous players in Manx football. I played against you myself, and I remember what you were like playing. And you've taken your experience as a player into refereeing, and really sort of thrown yourself into that wholeheartedly, and done really well to get yourself and committed the time and the money, especially from here, to get yourself up that level. What's that been like, sort of from the start when you first decided to go into it?
When I first decided to start going into refereeing, it was a shock to quite a lot of the FA. Tony Meckham at first couldn't believe it, which you've got to try and push past that. You're fighting for points on a pitch. The referees were struggling at the time, 4 match officials, and I thought I was finishing football to give it a go and give something back to the game. The amount of abuse that I gave referees, I was wholeheartedly had to give something back and give them, see what it was like on the other side and give the opportunity, which Kev put a lot of time and effort into me, Tommy Crow and the society, Peter Greenhill and Paul Hodgkinson, because I was willing to do the games, learn, adapt to the game and being on the other side, which enabled me to get promoted to level 4 after just 2 seasons.
And how have you found that experience of stepping off the island and sort of, players you knew, players you played with? Even like you've had that situation where you're now refereeing games on the island where you played with your dad. Sort of situation. How did you find transitioning into that?
It's a difficult step. You're going from refereeing grassroots to refereeing events. It is hard. It's an intimidating setting because you're being assessed from every second. From when you get to the ground, you've got to accommodate the clubs, speak to the clubs. You're speaking with secretaries. They're marking you from the second you get there. The clubs, assessors, the assistants. You've got it's a whole different level. It's kind of through the season a lonely experience. You're on the boat for 8 hours a week, travelling late Friday night, coming back either early hours of Sunday or Monday morning, trying to get fixtures in. Some weeks I'll be doing 6 games in a weekend. It's a massive cost. It's not, the commitment has to be 100%. I think I paid out last season about £5,000 to £5,500 just to referee. So it proves that I'm not in it for the money. I'm doing it for the love of the game. I've got up quick and I held my own. I got some great games last season, which my commitment was awarded. I was awarded FC Isle of Man on Ireland to referee. I've done the likes of FC United, which was great. I got to meet Eric Cantona, which was an unbelievable experience.
He tells the same story.
No, we compare our little, as players, our little bust-ups.
I mean, you never karate kicked the fan. Not karate kicked your own defence.
I know, I think my worst was my own players. But it's an incredible step up, and it's a difficult transition. As I said, you refereeing events. People get it. Some assistants, officials on the island get to experience what it's like to be a part of the events, and they realise how difficult it is for a referee when travelling and meeting new players and you're in an unknown territory. So it's trying to get that border of how do you approach clubs. Are you the friendly type? Have you got to step off? Some players don't like you even talking to them. I think noticing that level of game difference, like I got to assist in the FA Trophy this year, which is a brilliant experience. And when you've got 700-800 fans behind you, hurling abuse, but they're drinking, it's hard to stay professional and concentrate. But you switch off to it, and realise it is a great atmosphere. And being a part of a certain level of games, like my aim this season, I'd like to have an FA Cup qualifier. So I'm working hard towards that. I've got myself, last week I was on an assistant referee training course with the English FA, and I was also had to be away recently again for my fitness test, which I don't get paid for them, so it's just cost me about £400 just to do my fitness test and to go and do some assistant training. It is a lot. It's a big commitment, but it's one I'm really enjoying, and my aim is to hopefully inspire someone else to take this footing, a young lad that's going to look at this and think, I want to be a part of them games, I want to be doing that, and then have that opportunity. And I think it's a great footing being involved. I am heavily involved in society. I've been fortunate to have FC Alaman ask me to officiate their fixtures, which for experience we're bringing in new referees as the fourth official, so they get to experience what it's like to be a part of that game, listen to team talks, watch us warm up for the game and how we integrate with clubs, which will hopefully push them on to want to be further a part of the game, whether it's an assistant for the games on Ireland, or if they want to venture across into the Northwest Counties at level 4. I was speaking with a young lad recently who's Lachlan, hopefully, fingers crossed, can come up and overtake me. That I refereed Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Nottingham Forest under-19s, which is a level 3 game. But my experience and how well I was doing, I got offered the chance to do it, and getting these little opportunities can go a long, long way.
And you said about Peter Grinnell and Paul Hodgkinson there, so neither from the island, but both sort of, Peter was involved in quite high level sort of officiating when he was in England. I know he said about he was full official in
the FA Cup.
FA Cup game, and was it Tottenham he was involved in?
Or Arsenal, someone.
It was one of the North London clubs, he got to be a full official in one of them. Paul's obviously been in the Championship and did the EFL game at Liverpool last year between
West Ham.
Then West Ham. How much of a help has that been for sort of like them helping you? Because obviously Paul
massively, massively. I do travel a bit with Paul, and Paul is always trying to. He knows I'm really a critic of myself. I pick quite a lot of faults, and Paul's also trying to make me channel it, take down diaries and take positives from a game, negatives from a game, work on it. He's always there to talk to. I had struggles last season because I was doing my teacher training and trying to do that, referee, and the travelling was getting a lot. I'm unsupported doing this. I'm thankful to my mum and my mum's partner who travel all hours of the night to pick me up and get me around the UK, and I'm also driving with them. It's his influence on the boat, speaking to, and it's great to bounce off because you have your good games, your bad games, and his aim with wanting to support other referees to do this and know that giving me that little bit of help is pushed me further, taking his notes on board. Peter Greenhill as well on Ireland is spending many hours of his own time free on the phone at his house, going through games, going through footage of games that I've done, picking out where I could improve, what did I think of a decision, could I have thought of another way? And as an assessor, it's a valuable lot of information, what assessors would look for, and it's helped me grow further, getting more of an insight and in-depth, and then seeing with Paul where he's at, and he speaks to me openly where he sees I could be in the future. And the further and further I've gone, I did finish quite high this season I finished in the top quarter of referees in the Northwest. And like Paul said, you're putting the effort in, you're getting the reward. But with his mentoring on the side, is helping me get to where I want to be and what I want to achieve.
Well, and just turning things slightly back onto the island, you obviously still referee on the island, as you're saying, you're doing FC Island's pre-season games.
Yes,
and the festival's coming up in a few weeks. Got obviously Fleetwood coming over, which is like a big thing for sort of Manx sport, really.
It's massive.
Like that quality of opposition played here. But just in terms of that refereeing side of things on the island, we go through sort of like these constant peaks and troughs with numbers, especially. It's people do sort of get pushed quite early now when they're coming into. They don't have that sort of combi through for as long as an income and that step up. How do you think that things are currently set up on the island? I don't not to criticise the setup, but just in terms of the numbers that are coming through and how healthy is that society?
It's not healthy. The numbers are dwindling. I think we've lost another 5 or 6 this year, and we're not getting the uprising, and we're not getting the taking on. Liam's taken over the role as RDO and trying to open the strategy. They've implemented the strategy that the English FA put in I think 2023, trying to bring all that into here, which the thing is, it's an island community, and with like Jersey and Guernsey, we're quite close and knowing. So it's hard to get
It
referees.
is interesting if you look. I mean, we have actually a lot more teams and they sort of do it in the same way. But if you look at down there, even you see they've had similar struggles of getting people in. And
it's hard because it's looked at like players want to keep playing, and they do. We've got I forget his name now, a lad from Gyms that's recently done the referee's course, and I spoke to him, and he really wants to referee, but he's still wanting to play football. The young lads that have done the course, they still want to play football, and they're happy to do youth games, but they want that opportunity. Now,
well, even amongst older players, people look after themselves better now. So you got like Frank Jones and Woodsy who are going off the Island Games.
They're machines, like, aren't they?
Sean Quay's been playing, and Johnny. So you still got these ones who are like in their late 30s into their 40s and still playing really good level football. So maybe that sort of thing, if you get to 30, 35, it's like, I'm not really feeling this anymore, and you move into refereeing, perhaps isn't there in the same way that it was.
Well, it's trying to, if it's not the older generation, I'm trying to look at the younger generation as well, because I'm literally one promotion on, if I go as specialist at 3, technically I'm able to get into the Football League as an assistant. Level 3s can go in as a specialist assistant with 3 years, a minimum 3 years experience, and go into the Football League, line on the National League. 2 promotions of a referee from the Football League. That's so close. I'm 39 now, not getting any younger, but I've still got the opportunity to reach the Football League. And people don't see this. They don't see that there is an opportunity. You have to work hard for it. It's exactly what I've done. Being on that boat last season for 48 trips, I think it was about 48 trips, maybe a bit more. It's difficult, but the opportunities are there. I did not go over and have one weekend where I didn't have a fixture. They were throwing more fixtures at me. I had the issue you have is when you transition across, you have to link with a county across. You can't just rely on the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man can't get you games across. So you need to be with Liverpool, Cheshire or Manchester to get noticed. Now I'm fortunate I was noticed by a coach, so it's able to have a little poaching session from who I referee with. And luckily this year, I don't have to affiliate with one county, and they're happy to take me for games because it covers my weekend and it helps them out as well. And there's a bigger, broader area to go off, so you're getting games up and down the country, and it's trying to show the younger lads, like, listen, you might not be the best at football, but you could transition to refereeing and be brilliant. And within 5-6 years, you could be in the National League. Within 10 years, you could be refereeing in the Championship. It's close. You've got more chance of being an official in the Football League than you have of being a player. I'm coming up against players now. I've refereed a team last season which were full of Everton Academy players that have just been let go. The whole squad was Everton Academy let go. So they chew up and spit out, and then they end up in the lower leagues. And referees are coming through. They're younger. I worked with a lad, James Owen, last season, and he's early 20s. He's an assessor of level 4s. Unbelievable referee, and he misses out by one position every year. He's literally one position off.
I think I know you. I think he's been over to
yeah,
one games. I've chatted to him.
And I've worked a lot on the line with him in the Northern Prem, and he's so close to getting into the Northern Prem refereeing, and then it's lining on the National, then it's the National League, brink of the Football League. It's a good opportunity for a young person to take, and getting in young like Lachlan, if he can take with it and he gets these opportunities and chances, not just Lachlan, every referee, no matter what age they are, can still take these opportunities to jump and follow through, raise their standard, train, learn, develop, and become better, and the opportunities are always there for them.
So just in terms of what you say about, like, you've obviously said about the cost that you've put out, with Lachlan coming through, right in front of you, you're a working man who's, like you say, it's cost you a lot of money, but you're earning and you're sort of working around that, and you get, I know from chatting to Ollie Johnson as well, he said when he goes away, he has to do 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, you have to.
Because you have to make that money back, basically, for the boat. Do you think there's an area there where, whether it's through the Sports Council or through the government or through some sort of system, there could be more support? Because if you, at the end of the day, if you were playing at that level, there is that sort of support. If you're a cyclist going at this building level, or gymnast, there is access to support for that sort of thing.
We ultimately can't be sponsored because our sponsorships could clash with teams, and then it looks like a biased opinion on things like that.
But things like the Sports Council, would that be considered part of that, or?
We haven't spoke into that. I was a bit disappointed last year because I did approach Steam Packet regarding off ferries, and I paid a variant last season from £48 all the way up to £136 as a foot passenger. And I got told, well, because I'm not competing, then I can't be eligible for discounted tickets. So it was a bit of a setback, but fortunately I have the money, and it was a determination to carry on. And it was a hurdle, but it's a hiccup in the road. Let's go again, and let's try. And fortunately I found out pretty quick that I was doing well, so it was paying dividend. It was hard last season, when I got to Christmas I was doing my teacher training, so I had to take time out to do that, my training. My company, I work for Safety Management Services as a health and safety advisor, and they're massively supportive of this. They love the fact that I travel away, and I'm so dedicated to it. And
happy to get you out of the office.
Most probably, talking them to death. But no, they're massively supportive. My boss he loves it. His kid does come down to FC and is a football follower, and he's massive into sports himself with cycling, and they're great. Everyone's supported. The support's there. It's just the Steam Packet on board. I know with through the Isle of Man FA that they do get players and clubs travelling away, trying to get the referees on that sort of system to help out, and them to be a part of it, where I haven't been able to gain that opportunity. I sent about 4 or 5 emails in and badgered, but really to be told no, which is disappointing. But you work harder, and possibly one day could they regret it, how high you go.
I know from chatting to Paul, he sort of said about where, because of his job where it's that higher up, the sort of like, expenses sort of set up for things like, but that's not available at your level for anything like that at all.
No, I get £55 a game on the Northwest counties, and about similar on the line in the Northern Prem, and you only have one of them on a Saturday.
So for just the thing of extension, that's what, 20 odd pound, about £20 more than you get for being here.
Yeah.
So, like you say, that's what, covering your breakfast.
Yeah, just about. It won't cover my boat fee, unless I get like a cheap boat fee, but it still doesn't cover it. That's why I have to do the late Haitian boats, which is distant travel for my mum, who's 65, coming from Crewe to get me, and then I can't have a cheeky drink on the boat because I need to drive back, because I don't like her driving back at night in the dark. But I still drag her up there to get me at midnight. But it'd be good to see if we could get something involved to give the opportunities. I know referees have been away recently to referee in Chester and over in Northern Ireland, but there's many competitions. Get them away. If we can't push these at level into full 4, we have 4I on the island. Could a reward be sending them to Guernsey and Jersey to referee a game? Could we get them to more competitions? There's loads of competitions in the UK. Could we expand to Europe? Where could we go? Where's the stop? Why can't we get these opportunities? Referees develop, they work hard, lift the standard, get younger referees in that are going to want to push and challenge, not just younger, but referees we have now that want to go further. Some referees are happy to referee Combi 2, Combi 1, or just a game, any game, and there's referees that are willing to help out if we're stuck. But it's trying to get them referees through the door, and I'm hoping that the level I'm reffing at could inspire 1 or 2 young lads to think, or young ladies, that the opportunity's there and they could go into football, whether it's on the female path. I was offered to transfer to the female path. It's not something
that sounds like a drastic life decision.
I know. It's just my thing. I've never refereed women's football, and I always worried about my attitude within football. Could I go over onto women's football? And because I've just stayed where I am of what I know, I've stuck with where I know. I haven't refereed a women's game on the island. I think I refereed one under 14s at Crewe Alex, and that's the only experience I've got of women's football. So it is a good pathway to go down for anyone, because when you go across from level 4 to there, you go to a 3W, which then you've got a quicker promotion system through the women's side. But the opportunities are there. They're so close. They're so close for me, and someone can get in the same position as me.
Just sort of funny then, if obviously Liam's doing the referee development officer role now, and he's doing a really good job of that as well.
Yeah.
You know, I constantly see him doing stuff with it. You know, he's really sort of throwing himself into it. What more do you think just can be done, sort of, without being, you know, not necessarily by Liam, but like by football as a whole and by the FA, perhaps just to get more through the door?
Well, what we've done on the society, I was thinking Liam took over, and it's a difficult job for Liam. He's got 3.5 hours a week to deal with all of us, the demands of the FA. The money that he gets for that, for 3.5 hours, is not covering what realistically he's doing. So, after discussions, I've been developing a program through society where over the past years that referees have been awarded by club marks for their trophies. Now we're bringing in that referees will do laws of the game tests, development sessions, assistant referee, because we don't get anything really assistant wise unless you're on FC Isle of Man or looking to get certain games in competitions, because we haven't got the referees to cover assistants. So do some assistant training and bring in some stuff from across, that from professionals, other counties that can help through society. That will also make Liam's job easier, which will take a lot of stress off him and pressure to have to fulfill. Liam will also be involved in that because ultimately he is a referee as well. So the society, he's learning, and we're all helping each other, linking the society and the FA to work together, and hopefully getting with the referee development courses and the referee. We bring in referees like myself, Ollie, to these sessions where we give them experience of what it's like to referee across, because no one ultimately hears about it. It's never mentioned. If you go onto the Isle of Man FA pages, you don't see what games referees are doing across. Tom Halliwell finished, I think I spoke him down the other day because I said top 50, but Tom Halliwell in Northumberland finished in the top 15 assistant referees. If he transitions into 4, he could fly through the ranks there. And that's another guy that goes under the radar, which would be great to see them push on the development course to say, listen, this is where you could potentially be with their experience, with Tom's, myself, Ollie's, anyone else. Jane Ann's been away refereeing in Northern Ireland. It'd be great to hear what her experience was like. I think Matty was reffing in Chester. Another one, you can gain their experience and learn off that, because there's an opportunity there for people.
I know from chatting with you in studio the week, Stu, obviously he's big on this as well.
Yeah.
But the refereeing side of it isn't, you know, it's that classic thing where it's like, from a sport point of view, there's like a respect side of it as well. You don't ask officials to explain themselves.
No.
And they shouldn't be required to.
No.
But equally to share their experience, or even, you know, I think you do get, I know you've said it yourself, you do get open ones who go, they'll think about something later on and go, do you know what, I can see how maybe, you know, you can, maybe I should have sent him off, maybe I shouldn't have sent him off, maybe that wasn't the foul I thought it was. That's, you know, and I don't think that, I think it's a very fine line to tread. Yeah. Because so you don't want to go into asking them to explain every throw-in. No. But there's that area going, what is your experience of having done this, and what, you know, what did you reflect on later where you've gone, I thought about this again, and maybe I could have handled that slightly differently. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of value in that, like you're saying. It
is always helpful. Like, once you've done a game, you always look back at what you could have done better, what you thought you did well at. And it's a thing that Paul Hodgkinson pushed on me to make a diary, write your game down, 3 good points, 3 bad points, write about the game, write things down. There's your learning. You're learning for your next game, right? If I can change one of them points in the next game, say I didn't believe my position on free kicks wasn't good in that game, then my next game, my focus will be on my position on free kicks. You're learning from it. You're learning from your own notes, which is, if you can teach yourself and help yourself, that's the biggest starting point. And your communication with players, it does vary. What we've got to realise is that 90 minutes of a game, I'd love to explain every decision. 75% of decisions sell themselves. It's all what the referee has seen at that point in time. We don't have VAR. And when we're on our own, we don't have. I'm fortunate every week I'm across.
You don't need VAR, you've got 60 odd people stood around the pitch telling you how wrong
I know what they've called me, I can hear it. But it's
Also, we've got Hattie. So.
yeah, Hattie can do us on YouTube. But no, even what Hattie, the things like that, Hattie brings a lot of value into referees, which he doesn't realise, because when decisions are made, we look at them, we look at our position and what we've done. I looked at one last season, I went, I can't believe I've given that penalty. And it happens. We're human, we make mistakes. Everyone always talks about the referee getting the sending off wrong, but they never talk about the player that misses an open goal, misses a penalty from 12 yards, skies it. They never talk about that. They laugh about it between them, but that's a mistake, like us missing a foul. We don't intend to go out and ruin a player's day. We try and get the game on, get the game done, and referee it to the best of our abilities. Because our ultimate aim as referees is to be getting trophies as well, to be on a cup final, to be involved with FC Isle of Man or at that level. Like, if you're doing well as an assistant, you want to be assistant on an FC Isle of Man game, because that's a great step up for them, an opportunity. And so are the cup finals, and they all want that. And it's hard. A lot of things are club marks, but this season within society, our club marks are going to count for 50% of the overall trophy, and then it's going to be down to club marks, development, laws of the game test, and your attendance to society, which will then hopefully bring more community feel and giving each other experiences backwards and forwards, whatever level we're reffing at, whether it's juniors. I remember Winston in society last year came up with an incident he had, and because his level, it's the exact same as my level, and I ended up at a game in just outside Birmingham, and within 30 minutes of the game, I remember there was a coming together, and it was exactly how Winston had it, and I knew straight away, oh, listen, I've listened to this before, and I was able to come out with the right decision because we were all bouncing ideas off each other.
Well, cheers, Rob. I mean, I sort of take 10 minutes on, take half an hour time. So cheers for that, and we'll obviously, good luck into next season.
Cheers, thanks so much.
And good luck tonight, because we've got it on camera now. So
yeah, I know.
If you're awful tonight, we'll be able to show you why.
Oh no, there'll be loads of people down here telling me how awful I am.
Cheers for your time.
Cheers, thanks very much. Thank you.